What's up, YouTube? This is Thanatos Prime, and I'm sorry about the impromptu setup. I'm not in my room. I'm downstairs. Um, Basically, what happened was, it's 100 degrees here in my city. It's really hot, and it's cool down here. And I really didn't feel like taking down my fan to record these videos. But I'm responding to Transformers Fan 5000 and his list of top 5 figures that he never got that he always wanted. And I have my list right here. So, first off, let's just start with a couple of honorable mentions. That being said, this one's kind of recent, and that's going to be the Viacon General from the Adventure line, I think is what it was called. It was like the Japanese version of RID. And by Viacon General, I mean the car one, the white one, because I would have loved getting that figure, but I was like in a so-so place at the time. I was like it's not that I fell out of love with Prime, because I love Prime, but I just kept putting it off, and now he goes for an insane amount of money, like all those figures do. I really regret passing on that. I mean, I love the mold, but that deco looked really, really cool. And, I also wish I kind of got the normal Jet Viacon. I could now, but I have a gut feeling they're going to redo all those old figures. Like a lot of these ones, I have a feeling they're going to redo eventually. Next honorable mention, we got Cybertron Galvatron. Now, this is a figure that the deco alone is leagues better than Cybertron Megatron, who was one of the figures that I thought about getting as a kid, but I passed on it because, I was all about, having a default Megatron, and mine was Energon at the time, which sucks because, that mentality, I've missed out on a lot of good figures like the Cybertron Optimus too. But, the Galvatron, that deco just looks absolutely amazing. And my buddy Sound Blaster Prime, that dude got lucky. He found one at an antique shop for about $45, mint in box. Killer deal. Yeah, I always kind of wanted that figure. Okay, this last honorable mention, technically it's a gift set of 5 figures. So I didn't want to overshadow it because it probably would have filled up the whole list. I mean, minus one of the figures being from a mold that not a lot of people, myself included, really like, and that's going to be the Unite Warriors Computron. That thing looked way, way better than the other, the Combiner Wars one, which I have that now because I got it for like $80 on eBay, and I needed a Computron. And I figured, my Menasor isn't exactly a G1, so I can make do with this. Because the only listings I ever found for a Unite Warriors Computron were in Japan, and I don't trust overseas sellers a lot. I've had a few try to scam me. Like one of them actually did try to scam me on a Computron, and I just canceled it, got my money back, thankfully. And I never was able to get that figure or that box set, even though that looks way, way better. But let's get started with the actual list. And starting with number 5, another Cybertron toy, Cybertron Snarl. The wolf, I mean, wolves are my favorite animal, so much so I got one tattooed right there. And, Snarl was a cool character. I love the voice actor, Scott McNeil. That dude is awesome, and I really hope I can get his autograph one day. But I just never got around to it. And then, Cybertron ended. The movie line was kicking in. So that one just swept under the radar for me. Number 4, Beast Wars Neo, or I guess you could technically say the Beast Machines Dinobots, Magmatron. I didn't know who Magmatron was until I read the Beast Wars IDW comics. The old ones, The Gathering and all those. I love Magmatron's design. I'm a sucker for a cool design, and he looks so awesome. He was so cool to see in the comic book. And I thought I found a few places like Toy Arena might have had it, but I just never got around to getting him. I still regret that to this day. I mean, because he looked absolutely amazing and, loved him in the comics. But I have a gut feeling they're going to remake him soon. Like I said, I have a feeling we're going to remake a lot of these guys. And he's pretty popular, I think, so just give it time. See. Number 3, another Beast Wars repaint. Actually, looking at my list now, all of them except number 1 are beasts. So, Universe Reptilian. Now, I saw that figure when I was a kid, but when I was a little kid, I was like super dumb. I was like, Transformers shouldn't turn to animals. That's so stupid. That's so lame. Minus the Dinobots. I always love Dinobots, but yeah, Reptilian, his deco just looked beautiful. And I think it was Exaggerated Elegy, his review of that figure, that made me like, ooh, I really want that one. But I just haven't bothered picking them up. And then I stopped collecting Beast Wars for a little bit. Had my collection that I either gave away or sold off like an idiot, and he didn't have a place anymore. I might get him now, but I might hold off because, like I said, I think they're going to remake all these Beast Wars guys eventually. You know, once they get the show characters out of the way, let alone this guy, because he's technically from the Universe 1.0, and I don't see those decos happening outside of selects for a long time. Okay, number 2. This one's another Transmetal 2. Transmetal 2 Spitor, the frog. Now, ever since I saw Team Char in Transformers Animated, I was instantly drawn to Spitor. I like those characters. Sorry for the clock. Characters like Toad, who's one of my favorite X-Men villains, and the fact that there was a Transformer who was like that with that tongue action, and he was revolting. Like, I really wanted a Spitor toy somehow, like animated, or, you know, I didn't know until years later he was in the Beast Wars, and I had the first toy, the little frog that had the spring out tongue. I think that one, yeah, that one went to TFA 1024, and he gave it a good home. Love that figure, but, you know, the Transmetal 2, I just always liked that design so much better. And really, the one thing I have to say is, again, I'll get it if they make a Generations one. I'll snap that up in a heartbeat. I think they're going to do the original body first, because that one was technically the one in the comics, and Transmetal 2 didn't show up until like the BotCon comics. But, you know, fingers crossed. And number 1, this one is one that has always haunted me when I was a kid. I really regret passing on this guy. Like, even when I was a kid, I kept telling myself, oh, I'll get him next time. I'll get him next time. Well, next time never came. And, you know, I mean, I saw the repaints. I didn't want the repaints. I wanted this version of the character, or this version of the mold. Cybertron Jetfire. I always liked Jetfire. For some reason, I wasn't really big on Optimus Prime combining. Sometimes I'm still not into that. I mean, although I do kind of want the Legends Jinrai. But, you know, that's not really as much of a desire as the other ones on this list. But, yeah, I never really was able to get the Armada Jetfire. And Energon, I don't know. I just never really... I like that design. I just never really wanted it in a toy form. But Cybertron, I love that one. That's one of my favorite versions of Jetfire. That, you know, that's the one that started the Australian accent thing. And he was really cool in the show. But, you know, I passed on him, and when I went back for him, he was never there. And, you know, it stung so bad, I didn't even bother with the other molds. I think it was like Sky Shadow, and one of them from the 2007 movie line. It was a Toys R Us exclusive. Maybe one day I'll get it. I don't really have a lot of space for Cybertron stuff. A lot of my Unicron trilogy stuff, like pretty much all of it's packed away now. So if they do a Generations update, I'll get it. But, you know, that's my top 10. That's my top 5, I should say. Sorry. My top 5 Transformers that I never got when I was a kid, and that I always kind of wanted, or really wanted in the case of some of them. Like I said, that's a response to TF Fan 5000, and I'm going to challenge a couple of my friends. I'm going to challenge TFA 1024. This challenge is for you and my good buddy Sound Blaster Prime. If I think of any others, I'll name them. I should probably go for the rule of 3. TFP Forever. Heck, I don't even interact with you that much, dude. I kind of regret that. You seem like a cool guy. So that's my list. Those are the people I challenge. I'm curious to see what you guys say. And until the next stream, till all are one.